Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Wilson. I'm with Wilson Counseling. Also, Simplicity Today. You can find more information and videos, educational videos on that website as well. I wanted to talk to you today about an education. It's called a holistic treatment of pain-induced depression. A lot of people don't realize that people that deal with chronic pain that's defined as 6 months or longer and persistent in pain, can be triggered from many different things, also suffer from depression and anxiety. Lots of time that goes untreated, and if that goes untreated, then that intensifies the person's pain intensity and lowers their pain threshold. So therefore, they become what they consider disabled. I like to stay away from the word disabled because that indicates that people can't do anything. I try to work with patients on limits, knowing what you can and can't do so that when you have a good day, you don't overdo and you can always identify some joy of activity. So what I developed was a new scale that is called the Assessment of Pain-Induced Depression. That's available on my website. What that does is it measures the intensity, uses neutral questions, and it measures whether the depression or anxiety is just simply adjustment issues, moderate level, requiring individual treatment or more intensive treatment, or safety issues might need to be addressed. Next, I wanted to talk about my actual model of treatment. Of course, that varies from patient to patient and what their needs are with chronic pain. But I wanted to walk you through what that looked like, what we explore. What we do is we begin to look at building acceptance in chronic pain. Acceptance doesn't mean that you're totally okay with having suffered an injury or an onset of pain. It means that you are able to identify that as part of yourself, not the whole of who you are. It's much like going through the grief and loss process. In fact, is. So we go through and identify the stages, which include shock or disbelief, denial, bargaining, guilt, depression, and of course, acceptance and hope. What I let my patients know, though, is that just like any grief process, it's circular and it's messy. It doesn't go in any order. It continues to kind of recycle depending on whether you're having a good or a bad day or a new injury. So it's just good to know where you're at with that and what your limits are. So that's exactly what we talk about with that. What I work on with patients with chronic pain is moving them from suffering from chronic pain, that is, identifying their whole identity or whole person based on their pain, that it limits everything that they can do. They have no outlets. There is no hope. They feel very hopeless, and move them into someone who is living with, so not suffering from, but living with chronic pain. Living with means is that you're active in your treatment. You're aware of all new treatment models. You believe in interdisciplinary treatment, meaning holistic, open to behavioral therapy, of course, pain management, and any other forms, such as Reiki, anything spiritual, whatever your beliefs might be, that will help manage your pain. Next, I walk the person through the who am I phase. Because we identify so much in America who we are by what we do, what we, our work. So I'm a psychologist, I'm a counselor, that we don't explore enough of our other identities, such as I'm a pet owner, I'm a family member, I'm creative, I love to paint, I run, I like to be outside. All those things have to be addressed, and there has to be new goals established in our life or we lose hope. So whether you're a chronic pain patient or a patient suffering from depression or anxiety, you always have to look towards new goals. So I push patients to identify goals in order to build hope in life. Many of these patients have already kind of closed their book, so to speak. We all have so many chapters written in our book or our life. Sometimes when we get depressed or anxious, we decide to close it. So what I'm trying to do is get them excited again about who they are, finding out who that is, and starting a new chapter in their life. We have to create hope. Hope doesn't just happen. We have to know that and realize that we are in control of our own emotions, with the exception of grief and loss. So that's a messy process. But however, if we say someone or somebody made us in a bad mood, that's not true. That's very false, that we're in control of our own mood or emotion. So I also then move the patient towards identifying 5 personal strengths. So many of us want to identify what's wrong with us, or we'll say we're creative, but we're not creative when it comes to painting. So we always tack on a negative. We never want to build up our strengths. So in times of weakness or crisis, if we don't know the tools that we have to work with, our negative thoughts or catastrophizing thinking, the snowball effect, takes over. We become depressed and anxious. We bounce back between the past, the coulda, woulda, shouldas, right? Or the future, too far into the future. What's tomorrow going to look like? What's 2 years going to look like with my pain? And so that's a horrible way to live. We bounce back and forth. We don't stay in the middle. One way I teach my patients to laugh, right, and to try to stay mindful is to ask them what their favorite food is. Mine, there's lots for me, but one of those is pepperoni pizza with extra cheese and extra pepperoni. And so, when I'm really hungry and I finally get that favorite food, then sometimes I look down and it's gone. So what I teach them is, please don't choke on, right, your pepperoni pizza. Slow down and taste it. Don't laugh at yourself a little bit and say, I need to stay right here in the moment because the next moment's not guaranteed. The next process that we move through in the healing stage is called the letting go process. Letting go is anything that you're holding against yourself or anybody else that's causing you guilt and remorse. It's keeping you trapped in a moment, not enjoying any life in the present. So it involves anchoring yourself in the future, discarding, repairing damaged relationships, transformation of your narrative. That is through your strengths. So you're redefining who you are. Forgiving, most certainly forgiving yourself. And then the last step is learning to be present, right? Nothing, not one single technique or inner evolution is as powerful as the antidote to the past as the capacity to be present in the here and now. Now, the last step that we move through, and it's ongoing, this whole process is ongoing, no matter what I'm seeing my patients for, because we need to stay in maintenance in mental health. It doesn't just go away. You might have a natural metabolism, but you might have high blood pressure. So you have to stay on a maintenance program. So what I'm teaching people, focusing on chronic pain right now, is that we have to stay in the maintenance phase and continue to work. So the last thing that I work with them on is building goals, creating goals to create hope in life. What I use is something that can be found on the internet quite simply. It's called SMART goals. They have to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. But what I have to remind my patients is even in treatment itself and in the healing process, whether it's physical, right, or mental healing, we like to get better now and right now. So I have to remind them to slow down, right, and not go from A to Z, but A to B. We have to look for any progress, right? I often start my sessions by saying, what did you do well? We tell ourselves all the time what we didn't do well. Now, this is just the beginning. I also have my books available online, and we'll be doing some regular training on simplicity and self-esteem to get you excited about a regular maintenance plan, and worry and anxiety, staying out of fear. So I hope everyone enjoys this video. Please give me feedback, and I'll talk to you soon.